Hey, friends, welcome back to Notes to My Nervous System, a podcast about understanding your nervous system so you can move through hard moments with a little more calm and a lot less self blame. I'm Erin, a mom, a therapist, and creator of the Mind Circuit app. It's a simple nervous system friendly tool for moments when your body needs support before your brain can catch up. Today I'm joined by Helen Meurs. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Meurs.
She's an educator and creator of relational puppetry. Am I saying that?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a playful nervous system aware approach that helps adults connect with children. So I love that your work gently reframes what adults see as challenging behavior and how it helps us to slow down enough to notice what a child is really communicating. So that's where I'd like to start. When adults see these challenging behaviors, what do they actually see? What's going on?
In a child's head. Yeah. Yeah. What I have seen a lot with young children, I am Dutch and I am a teacher from origin. And what I saw with children is that challenging behavior is a reaction, is the result of something else. And often it's a stress reaction. They don't know what to do. Otherwise, they just do what they do because they don't have a different way, but they don't know yet how to do it differently. And we, as an adult, we look often through our own lens, from our own perspective, and not from the perspective of the child. So if we don't ask ourselves, what is happening here? Why is this child doing this? Then we never know what's really going on. And we react just to the behavior and not to the what is underlying the behavior. That's what I have seen a lot.
Why is it so important to understand what's underlying?
Yes, I think it's very important to try to understand at least, because otherwise we give the child the feeling it's not okay. The child as a whole is not okay. So we teach it to adjust, and that can only give more stress, do more damage to the nervous system than listening to the child, try to understand why it's doing what it's doing. And for a lot of adults, for me in the beginning, that was the same thing. It's quite difficult to just understand a child. What is he trying to say to you? Because we see the behavior and we don't like the behavior. We want the child to stop with that behavior. And if we only look to that outside and only react to that outside, yeah, we do ourselves, but the child also, we don't do the child and ourselves a favor, because that behavior will not stop unless we do it differently. We react differently and we teach
Mhm.
children how to respond differently. So that's what.
How did you take all this and decide you're going to go into puppetry with it?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, I recognized a lot of behavior for the children I had in my classroom because I was a child like that myself. I am an early childhood victim, an early childhood trauma victim, and I have adjusted a lot. And that was one of the reasons that I wanted to work with children, just to be a different role model for them. And what I noticed when I became a teacher was that children didn't feel safe. Not all children trust you. Even if you have the best intentions, not every child trusts you. And they behaved in a way that all my senses went on, and everything in me said, okay, you are stressed out. I stress you out. So I have to find a way that lowers the threshold for you, that invites you in. And that became a puppet. So that is how it started.
And what does the puppetry, how does it help reach the kiddo and make it easier for you to figure out what's behind the behavior?
Yeah, I can show you.
Please.
Just meet her.
Hi.
She's adorable. So anybody not watching this and just listening, she is this cute little redhead little girl puppet.
Yes, my name is Janne. Yes, that's Dutch and it means yes, no in English. Yes, so you know that too if you are listening. Yes, so I came in, or a puppet came in, and what we do and how we lower the threshold for a child is that a child sees a puppet as a friend. So we react from a different perspective. And a child has different expectations from a puppet than it has from you as an adult. So that makes a lot of difference. Yeah, because if I come in, I don't want the child to change. I don't have any judgment. I am not there to teach the child anything. The only thing I want is to become friends and to get to know them better and to hear what's going on in their heads.
So that is something that I noticed when I started working with puppets, that the children told the puppet way more than they told me. And that was what fascinated me in the puppet in the beginning. I wanted to understand that. What does that puppet has that I don't have? And how can I use that to figure out what's in a child's mind, and how can I use that to help a child do things differently, to practice with the things it has to practice with, or to show different behavior. How can I use that puppet in a way that fits the child's expectations of the puppet?
Yes, because when I become a teacher or when I become an adult, then it doesn't work anymore.
Interesting. What is the magic behind the puppet? Is it just because it's like a toy to them?
No, it's not because we are a toy to them, but a lot of children, many children, most of the children see us as a friend, see a puppet as a friend, as an equal. I think being an equal and fitting into their world of experience so neatly is, I think, the reason why they tell us so much.
So they don't see the adult as a friend. But if you
No.
have a puppet, all of a sudden you're a friend.
Yeah, but only me as the puppet. They don't see her, Helen. They don't see her as a friend.
How do you help then a child to eventually see the adult as a friend?
I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't try them to convince that she is a friend. She is a friend to me. So I talk about her. And if I see that children are a bit scared of her, or think, oh, now she expects something from me, then I can explain. You can tell that to her.
Interesting.
Or we can do that together. But I never try to let a child see her as a friend because she just is an adult. And if a child doesn't want to tell things to her, but they do want to tell them to me, then she knows anyway.
Gotcha. Do you have a hard time getting other adults to see the benefit of this?
Yes.
What do you think that the pushback is, or the difficulty with them getting their mind around it?
Yeah, I think that what I have noticed in practice, and I'm training adults for 20 years now, professionals, parents, And what I notice is that a lot of adults feel awkward with a puppet. We feel like we are looked at. Others think we are a bit crazy when we start playing again. It seems like playing for us adults is difficult. And I am Dutch and I don't know about how that is in the US, but yeah, for a lot of adults and professionals, even child professionals, it's quite uncomfortable to play with a puppet because we think that we have to do it perfect. There is a lot of technique about using a puppet, so we have to do it right. That's something
Yes.
that is quite gives a lot of stress when you think in terms of nervous system. Then a puppet that is tempting for our nervous system because we think we have to do it perfectly. We think we have to have all that technique first. So it takes a lot of time. We think it takes a lot of time before we really can use the benefits of a puppet. And that's not true. But the biggest hurdle for most adults is overcome themselves, just to be in the role of that playing child again.
We have the same problem in the US.
Yes, I am not surprised.
We're always so concerned about how we present ourselves,
Yeah.
even to little ones.
Yes. Yes, and children don't expect us to be perfect. When you show up with a puppet, they are so willing to help you go through that process because they see a friend. They want to connect with that friend. So a puppet gives you the opportunity to do things differently. For me, puppet always has been from day one, such a vessel full of possibilities because children tell other things to the puppet and they also help me to show up with my puppet. There's never been a child that has said to me, it's silly, you are strange, or it's weird that you are playing with a puppet. All they ask me is, when does he come back again?
That's so cute.
Yes, and if you allow yourself to be helped by the children, then you can grow into that role. And many adults stop playing with a puppet before they are at the point that they can get the advantages of the puppet. We just think, well, this is not for me. I don't have the talent. I am not a natural, and I can better stop with that. Yeah, that's
For a tired parent or an educator who's thinking about this, but feels, like you said, it's too complicated, what's a simple way they could use a puppet just in everyday moment?
Yeah, the puppet is there to connect with children, and we often make it very complicated. And even if you don't have a puppet like that, I always say just try something with a sock. You have a sock in your sock drawer, and you can make, this is just a normal sock, you can make a puppet with that. And the only thing you have to do with that sock is look at the child. Just only that. Only look. Make it very small. The only thing he has to do to connect is say that. It doesn't need a lot of words. It doesn't need a lot of technique. And everything you need to start playing with a puppet, you already have. It's all about curiosity. You want to know what's in the head of your child. So that's one. That's something you need. And the other thing you need is the willingness to try. Just try. Just see what happens when you show up with that sock. And all that and all the next step can be just asking
How was your day?
The very normal things, the chit-chat topics are the best topics to talk about. And what a puppet doesn't have, and we do, is judgment. So if we can put out our judgment and just allow every answer a child gives, then there is connection, then there will grow a relationship. So there are a few things that a puppet that it doesn't. So if we are aware of those, then we don't need a lot of technique. But everything that it always starts with that hand that starts moving, that connects. Child doesn't ask a big activity. If you have one question, one simple question.
Did you like it at school?
Mm-hmm.
Who did you play with?
Just simple things. And don't interfere when we don't interfere with the answer. When a child speaks to a puppet and it tells the puppet something that we don't like, we attempt to interfere with that answer. And if we don't do that, if we just let that answer be, a relationship can grow. And all the other things around, all the things that you want to tweak a bit or you want to know more about, that's something that you can do later. But starting with just a simple sock, with just a simple question is enough to build a relationship. What we have to remember is that this puppet, this sock, isn't a second educator. It isn't a second us. The puppet is there as a friend. It acts from a friend perspective. It acts from a child perspective. And it gives us as adults, as overwhelmed adults, the opportunity to reconnect not only with our child, but also with the child within ourselves, because that will become our guide. And it will become our guide when we don't try to change the answers of a child, when we don't try to push the outcome of our question, when we allow the child just to be, when we allow the child just to speak out and don't interfere, then the child within ourselves will guide us to take the next steps.
Yes.
So educators should use it as a way to maybe start the day or transition, but not to teach or replace the teacher.
No. No, not to replace the teacher, what a puppet can do. And I was a teacher myself, so I used the puppet a lot in my classroom. Was that at the moment that I did my instruction, then we ask a child, did you understand? Do you know what you have to do now? And then a lot of children do this.
Shake their heads, yes.
Mm-hmm. And you have the feeling they don't understand a thing. But they will not tell it to you, like they will not tell things to their parents because they know that we have expectation. They know we are busy. They know how we think. They know how we can react. And a child is very sensitive for that. So my puppet, when I sense that they are not telling me everything, then my puppet came in and said,
I don't understand a thing about it. I really don't know what to do now.
and then children began, then children said, no, I don't know either. So then I could explain it another time.
Yes.
I love that.
So what you can do, you can become a team with your puppet. My puppet and I, we are a team. We work together. She is doing the talking. She is doing the lowering. She lowers the thresholds all the time. She invites children to join, but I am the brain. I am the one that gives her the words, and I am the one who is thinking about what does she has to say to invite children. So my language changed. She has a different language than I have. Her plans, my activities are brought by her in a different way. So I teach children something, but it doesn't feel
like teaching. It doesn't feel like they are learning something. They feel like they are playing. And that's the power of the puppet. So you do things in a different way.
Why do you think this hasn't caught on more? Because this just seems so obvious. And here in the US, we have Sesame Street, which
yes,
is
in the
a
Netherlands.
puppet.
Yes, but it's are all teaching puppets. When I was in the Netherlands, and I have to admit, I was a bit disappointed when I I live in the Caribbean now. When I moved to the Caribbean, started investing the American market, I was a bit disappointed to see that it is all traditional puppetry, that it's all scripted puppetry. It's all role play puppetry. What I saw, even, and that's the same in the Netherlands, even in the teaching methods, I see scripted puppets. And what that puppetry is doing is that we create an outcome for the child. So it's a teaching puppet. It's not a safe puppet for the child because the puppet expects that outcome from the child too. So we used the power of the puppet. It lowers the threshold for the child in our advantage without realizing that the power of the puppet is in creating that safety, that we skip the safe part when we use a puppet like that. And that's why a lot of adults experience that children are not that enthusiastic about a puppet after a few weeks because they expect a friend and they get a second educator. So what happens then is that children don't like the puppet anymore. And we adults explain that as children are not interested in the puppet and they are happy because they felt awkward with the puppet all the way. So for them, it's a good reason to skip that puppet. But if you am a trauma-informed educator, I know everything about how to create safety. And when you work from a safety perspective or from a social or from emotional learning and know that creating safety is a foundation of all learning, then it is insane. It's unbelievable that so little people use a puppet. So that's where I am now. I am here to teach those people how to use a puppet in this way because children need us to have to learn how to feel safe, how to speak out in a way that makes them start learning again. And we need the information the puppet can give us to tweak the way we teach children something. Because if I know what's going on in the head of a child, then I can change my approach.
Yes.
Are you having a lot of people responding to this positively?
Yes, I have. I've trained people for 20 years now, and this is an approach you can learn quite easily because what you need, and every parent, every child professional has that, is curiosity and a willingness to try something. And I can give you a complete framework. I can give you a complete pathway to walk and to grow into your role with the puppet, to teach you how you can tweak your language, how a puppet asks questions. And then within a few weeks, people notice that children respond differently. And then they see, hey, this works and this works differently than I thought it should be. So it would be. So it is, yeah, it is very teachable. It is, and you don't have to be a natural to do this. The only thing you have to do is to take that first step. Grab a puppet whatever puppet that is, you don't need to have a puppet like her. I started with a puppet I made myself. I started with socks. I have all kinds of different puppets I can use now, but yeah, the puppet is not that important. The most important thing is start. Just start. Try something.
And if somebody wants to learn from you or contact you, how do they find you? Especially since you're in the Caribbean.
Yes, that's quite a challenge. But I have a website. Just type my name and then you will find me, I promise, because there's nobody who does what I do. So if you type my name, helenmeurs.com, then you will find me. You will find me if you type relational puppetry, because that's how I called my approach. It is about using a puppet to create relationships, because that relationship is the fun from all the things we want to learn a child. And it is for parents, it is for professionals who are feeling stuck because they notice this child is not talking to me, or I want this child to practice with language, with behavior, with emotions, with whatever. Child don't react. It just doesn't do it what I ask him to do. So this approach is a different way in. The puppet is a different way in. And all children relax when they see a puppet. What the puppet do is it slows the child down. You see that the child thinks, it's a friend and he understands me. He's just like me. And that feeling I want a child to have when it sees the puppet. So that is what I teach. How can we make that puppet that safe? How can we create a puppet that fits our goals, that does the things we want to do with a child in a way that meets the child's expectations about a friend? And that's the art of relational puppetry. And I can tell you, even it feels, I know it feels very awkward in the beginning. And I have seen so many people who felt awkward in the beginning, but now tell me, I am so happy that I master this skill, because I feel I have, I got the key into the child's world. I feel I am a better educator now. I feel I'm a better parent now. I feel I am more in contact with my child. I'm more in contact with myself. I feel capable again. And that's, and it's a lot of fun. Working with a puppet is so much fun. So we deny that ourselves when we stay stuck in that idea about it's uncomfortable. It's only uncomfortable in the beginning. And if you are aware of your why you are doing this, and I do this because I want to help the child. I want the child to dive in, use its full potential. And I see that I can't get the child practicing with some things. It doesn't do it because he knows, the child senses that I have beliefs about how it should be. And a child senses that. And with a puppet, you skip that layer. It's just about, I trust you. What do you want me to do? Hey, I have a fun game. Are you joining me? And then it takes the child into the activity I want it to practice, to let it practice with. So it's just a different way in, very
Mhm.
effective way in.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for explaining all that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Because you are my market. I want to reach all those American parents. I want to reach all that American child professionals, because I know how helpful a puppet can be. I have seen it in my own classroom. I see it for more than 20 years now with the people I have coached, I have trained. The puppet changed their lives. It changed their lives and it changed the lives of children. There are children I have in my classroom who are becoming a teacher now themselves because they were in my classroom. I was the teacher with a puppet. I did something very different and that affected their life so much that they wanted to be a kind of a same kind of model for children themselves. And I think that's the best. That's the best thing you can hear about what you are doing. Yeah.
Well, hopefully this podcast will help some people open their eyes to the magic and the power of a puppet.
Thank you again for joining Notes to My Nervous System. If this spoke to you, please leave a review and subscribe. It's the only way people find small, independent podcasts like these. But before you go, let's take one small second. Deep breath in. Let's just notice our body, your feet on the floor, your breath, the chair holding you. Nothing to fix, just letting your nervous system know it made it through another moment. If this episode helped you feel even a little more steady, that matters. That's what this show is here for. And if you want more of those gentle science-based resets between episodes, you can find my app, Mind Circuit Ease, in the App Store or Google Play. It's a quiet place to help your brain come back online when life feels too loud. Thank you again for being here. Your nervous system deserves care and not pressure.